Do you feel like your life is falling apart? Like no matter how hard you try, you keep failing? Like everyone around you is moving forward, but you're stuck in the same place? Have you ever felt like giving up? Like there's no point in trying anymore? Let me tell you something. You are not alone. Every single person who has ever achieved anything meaningful in life has felt exactly how you're feeling right now. Every successful person has faced failure, rejection, and heartbreak. The difference between them and the people who remain stuck is not talent, not intelligence, not luck. It's that they refuse to give up. There was a man I once knew who went through more pain and struggle than most people could survive. He was born into poverty, raised in a small house with barely enough to eat. His father was a laborer, his mother a housewife. They worked hard, day and night, just to survive. But no matter how hard they worked, it never seemed to be enough. There were nights when the family went to bed hungry. There were winters when they couldn't afford warm clothes. And yet, despite the poverty and the hardship, the boy grew up with a burning desire to change his life. He promised himself that one day he would break free from the cycle of poverty. When he turned 18, he applied to a prestigious university. He studied harder than anyone else. While his friends were out having fun, he was in his room, reading late into the night. He believed that if he could get into this university, his life would finally change. All the pain, all the sacrifices, it would all be worth it. But when the results came out, he wasn't on the list. He had failed. He felt like someone had punched him in the stomach. After all that hard work, after all that sacrifice, he had nothing to show for it. He locked himself in his room for days. He couldn't eat, couldn't sleep. He felt like a failure. He started questioning everything. Maybe I'm not smart enough. Maybe I'm not good enough. Maybe success isn't meant for people like me. But then he remembered something his mother used to say. Life is not about how many times you fall. It's about how many times you get back up. So he picked himself up. He applied to a smaller university. He didn't care that it wasn't prestigious. He just wanted to keep moving forward. This time he got accepted. But getting in was the easy part. Surviving was harder. His family couldn't afford to pay for his tuition, so he worked 3 jobs to support himself. He worked as a waiter during the day, cleaned offices at night, and delivered newspapers early in the morning. Sometimes he would go days without eating properly. He wore the same clothes over and over because he couldn't afford new ones. There were nights when he fell asleep on the floor because he was too exhausted to make it to his bed. His friends were out partying, traveling, living their best lives, and he was working himself to the bone just to survive. He could have quit. He could have said, "This is too hard." But he didn't. He told himself, "This is temporary. I am working toward something greater." But just when things started to get better, life hit him even harder. In his final year of university, his father fell seriously ill. The medical bills started piling up. His family was drowning in debt. He had to make a choice: drop out of university and help his family, or keep studying and risk losing everything. He chose his family. He left university and took a full-time job in a factory. The work was brutal, 12-hour shifts in a dirty, dangerous environment. His hands were covered in cuts and bruises. His body ached constantly, but he didn't complain. He knew his family needed him. Every day he woke up at 5 a.m., worked all day, came home, and fell asleep, only to wake up and do it all over again. Most people would have given up at this point, but not him. He told himself, "This is not where my story ends." One day, while working at the factory, he overheard 2 men talking about a business opportunity. It wasn't much, just a small side project, but he saw potential. He scraped together what little savings he had and invested in it. After his shift at the factory, he would work on his business late into the night. Slowly, the business started making money, then it started growing. After a year, he left his factory job and focused entirely on his business. He worked harder than ever before. He studied the market. He built connections. He made mistakes, a lot of them, but he kept learning. And then one day, it happened. His business took off. It exploded. He paid off his father's medical bills. He bought a house for his family. He hired people. He expanded. The same man who had once gone to bed hungry now had more than enough to feed his entire family. The same man who had once worn the same pair of clothes for weeks now had more than he could count. The same man who had once failed and been rejected now stood on top of the world. When people asked him how he did it, his answer was simple: I never gave up. When life knocked me down, I got back up. When I failed, I tried again. When people doubted me, I trusted myself. And most importantly, I trusted Allah's plan. Because here's the truth: success is not about luck. Success is about resilience. It's about refusing to quit even when quitting seems like the easiest option. It's about believing in yourself even when no one else does. You're going to fail. That's a guarantee. You're going to face rejection, pain, and heartbreak. That's part of the process. But you know what else is part of the process? Success, growth, breakthroughs, victory. Allah says in the Quran, "Indeed, with every difficulty there is ease." Surah Ash-Sharh 94:6. So if you're going through a hard time right now, if you feel like giving up, don't. Your struggle is not meaningless. Your pain is not wasted. Allah is preparing you for something greater. Your breakthrough is coming, but you have to hold on. You have to push through the pain. You have to keep going when it hurts. You have to believe in yourself even when no one else does. Because the truth is, you're stronger than you think. Success isn't about talent. It's not about luck. It's not about intelligence. It's about refusing to give up. So no matter how hard life gets, no matter how many times you fail, keep going. No matter how hopeless it feels, keep going. No matter what anyone says, keep going. Because your success story is waiting to be written, and the only way you'll lose is if you give up. So don't. If this story inspired you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who needs to hear it. Comment below and let me know your thoughts. I read every single comment. And if you're ready to start your journey towards success, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss another video.